Hi guys, Mike here. I just wanted to create this short video to tell you about a poll on my channel starting today, where you can decide the setting of the MMO series that will start November the 20th on my channel. So after I released the video on Friday, I kind of was thinking all weekend long that I might have imposed a sci-fi setting onto you guys without giving you other options. I want this to be not only my series and my game that I create during the series, but it is supposed to be your series and your game as well, a kind of community series in the end. And so another setting besides sci-fi I always wanted to do was of course fantasy, maybe in some way even more than the sci-fi setting. And you can see that kind of like basically with me playing Final Fantasy a lot lately, Final Fantasy 14, the MMO. So in a few seconds I will show you some stuff I did back in my Unity days, the same things that I did with sci-fi. I did a fantasy setting too, and for a long time I created my own fantasy world with a cool story and stuff. So this is why I want to give you the chance to vote for the setting as well. So the purpose of this video is that I am creating a poll which will go online at the same time the video goes online, so you can vote for either a fantasy or sci-fi setting. And one thing to mention is that everything I told you last Friday or in that video, the last video, everything still is the same stuff that we will create, the same kind of like material layer system, the material library we are going to create, everything will be the same, only a different setting. So this is why I think now it's important for me to know that I don't want to decide things, I want you to decide things. So, but before we go more into details, let me show you what I did back in my Unity days. Kind of like, let's go over a little bit. This is my kind of like old Instagram account where I created my game, Destiny of Valandar. And originally it was kind of like supposed to be a strategy game, as you can see here, with crit-based system. You can move the characters around, and I started to create the whole kind of environment for that first tavern level I had in mind, created some stairs, tables, chairs, and the thing that I did was creating these modular pieces, or a set of pieces, like you can see here, these bowls and vases, glasses and stuff, or like for a chandelier and so on. And you can see that even for those kind of like tables, I went a modular way that you can see only simple pieces, like this would be a door and this would be assembled. And this whole workflow, like having several pieces, like you can see here as well, like for those different cabinets and stuff. This is a similar way now that I want for fantasy setting would go, is creating these modular pieces but more high detailed, as you would really create real life objects. And we would go really high detailed, modeling every plank in a crate, for example, or on a chair and stuff. So back then I created high poly, low poly, this in a high poly and low poly workflow, creating the textures in Substance Painter, breaking them down and all that stuff, which is not necessary anymore with Unreal Engine 5 now, and the high detail stuff we will do. There's some trim sheet stuff that is a little bit different from a sci-fi workflow that I would love to try. And then, for example, I have tons of references from old books from the 19th and early 20th century and stuff, and other images where you can really see old houses, references for props and stuff. So something like this I would love to create in fantasy, have these nice cool buildings, weapons like these, and other buildings, weapons, different, like kind of like in a style of a maybe 16th, 17th century Europe, in like either a medieval Europe setting which I had in mind, so with a twist of a story where fantasy exists, you have magic, you have dragons and all that good stuff, but it would be an alternate world, alternate medieval Europe and Japan and so on. So cool things. And here, like you can see, these cabinets, all those details, we would really go in modeling all these simple single detailed stuff in there. It would be awesome. And sculpting in Blender and creating ornate things with curves in Blender and so on. And you can see here I have all these also blueprints from old houses and stuff we could use, and there's no copyright of it, so we could really start creating this stuff. Houses, castles, ruins. I have tons of references for this, and you can see these props, these cabinets, all this detail that we can really sculpt in, use as nanite meshes and so on. So this is my plan for kind of like a fantasy world. And like you can see this building here, we would really approach this modularly, so modeling like small pieces here and assembling them to a complete house and stuff. So this would be the fantasy setting that I have in mind to do. So, and like the mini game, which was a turn-based card tactics game, would be similar here. We would recreate this game as a mini game with card play and tactics, moving characters around and so on. So like I said, everything would be the same that I mentioned, all the MMO features, all that stuff. It's the same approach, only different setting. And now I want you guys to decide which setting you want to do. Do you want to have it in a fantasy setting, like I've shown here, with lots of cool magic and effects and all that good stuff that we can do? And on the other side, sci-fi, that's what I showed basically in the last video. So it's now up to you. This poll will go online now, today, when this video releases. And maybe I'll leave it till Friday or Monday next week so that you guys can leave your vote. It will be in the community settings section of the channel. There will be a poll then, and so I want you to decide the setting. So thanks for watching. Please go vote, and once this vote is done, I will create a new video and then telling you all guys about the result, which setting won. Okay, thanks, and see you then on the next video with the results.